Good evening, everyone. The meeting is now live and being broadcast and recorded. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Mayor of the Borough of Bracknell Forest, Councillor Jenny Penfold.
Right, good evening everyone. Welcome to the annual general meeting of the Council. I'm waiving the requirement to stand in procedure rules to stand when addressing the meeting, so please remain seated. Please remain seated after the special meetings have closed and the public have left the chamber for a council briefing. I now declare the meeting open. Are there any apologies for absence?
Thank you. I've received apologies from Councillors Christoph Eberle, Frost, Gilby, Karim, Mossam, O'Regan and Wright.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, is there anyone online apologising? Oh, yeah, I forgot that, yeah. No. Is there anyone else in the room who knows of an apology? Mark, is there anyone joining online? Sorry.
Yeah, joining online, I can see, if you could confirm your attendance when I call your name, so I can see Councillor Smith.
Councillor Smith present.
Thank you. Councillor Pennell.
Good evening, I'm present.
Thank you. And Councillor Philip Thompson.
Present.
Thank you. That's everyone I can see, Chair.
Thank you. The full text for declarations of interest is set out on the agenda paper, page 3, item 3. Does any councillor have a disclosable pecuniary interest or an affected interest to declare? If you do, disclose the nature of it. Right. There seems to be no one in the chamber. Does anyone online, Deputy Mayor?
It's not working. I'll have to use it. Sorry. No one online, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Right, item 3. The first business of the annual general meeting is to elect a mayor for the forthcoming municipal year. Do we have any nominations? Thank you, Councillor Temperton. I will second that nomination.
I haven't nominated yet, but I will. Sorry.
I thought your hand best.
It's a really great pleasure for me to nominate Councillor Janet Cochrane to be our mayor. She was an excellent deputy mayor last year and passed her apprenticeship with flying colours.
Thank you. I will second the nomination. Are there any other nominations? There being no further nominations, I declare that Councillor Cochrane has been duly elected Mayor of the Borough of Bracknell Forest for the 2025 to 2026 municipal year. Please join me in congratulating Councillor. Councillor Cochrane, can you please join me and the Chief Executive at the front of the room to receive the mayoral chain of office and make the declaration of office.
Just declare that, yeah. Declare that I take, my name. Councillor Janet Cochrane having been elected to the office of Mayor of Bracknell Forest Council, I declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Perfect. If you could just sign there for me.
Go back, sir. I'll do my speech now for you. Right, I would like to thank Councillor Penfold for her hard work and dedication during her year in office. She attended a great variety of civic and charity events and committees, always showing enthusiasm and commitment. Raising money for her chosen charity was a goal she aimed for and certainly achieved. I would also like to give my personal thanks to Councillor Penfold for her help and guidance in my role as Deputy Mayor for the past 12 months. May we please have a round of applause for Councillor. Right. My short speech now. Keep it short. I feel very privileged to be elected Mayor this evening and grateful for this opportunity to support and promote the Borough of Bracknell Forest, a place I hold dear to my heart. I am looking forward to meeting members of our community who work very hard to provide the many services that support our residents, young and old, those with physical disabilities or suffering with their mental health. I will strive to achieve all that is required for me in this role, its responsibilities in supporting local organisations, working with the Bracknell Council administration and fellow councillors. I will name my chosen charity in due course. Thank you once again. Right, agenda on item 4 is election of Deputy Mayor. We now move to elect the Deputy Mayor for the forthcoming municipal year. I propose that Councillor Frewer be appointed Deputy Mayor for the 2025-2026 municipal year. Can I have a seconder?
I would like to second that, Madam Mayor.
Are there any other nominations? No. There being no further nominations, I declare that Councillor Frewer has been duly elected Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Bracknell Forest for the 2025-26 municipal year. Please join me in congratulating Councillor Frewer. Councillor Frewer, please join the Chief Executive to receive your chain of office and to make the declaration of acceptance of office.
I, Councillor Peter Frewer, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of Bracknell Forest Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I now call upon the Leader of the Council, Councillor Temberton, to give thanks to the retiring Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Jenny Penfold, for all the hours you've put into supporting your role as Mayor of this council. Preparing and chairing the meetings, not always an easy task. Attending so many outside functions, representing the council in an official capacity, meeting residents, organisations, fundraising and officiating at the civic ceremonies. Always the same smile, the same positivity, the same enthusiasm. On behalf of all members of this council, I thank you for representing us so well.
Councillor Penfold, would you like to respond?
Right, thank you, Councillor Temperton. Actually, it's been a complete privilege to represent the borough of Bracknell Forest. Never in my life did I expect to become Mayor of Bracknell Forest, or anywhere else for that matter. However, I've had that privilege, and it has been a fulfilling experience, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. I was a complete novice to all this, and I have to thank many people for keeping me on the straight and narrow. Thank you to Liz, the Mayor's assistant, the democracy officers, and all of you councillors. I've always felt supported, even when there's a bit of dissent. In just the last few weeks, I've attended the Forces Day at the Bracknell Fire Station, visited the partly built Skimt Hill Health Centre, been to the handover to the new High Sheriff of Berkshire. There has been a school visit, the opening performance of Priscilla, the Pride of Bracknell, and of course we have celebrated VE Day. There have been other things too, involving music, drama, half marathons, and of course the regular citizenship ceremonies where we've continued to welcome diverse people from Bracknell. I think this morning there were probably 20 different nationalities there at least. For the first part of my year, my consort and husband, Nick, joined me when appropriate, and he was a great support. We both learned so much about the various places and events that go on in Bracknell. There have been a few disappointments. We had to cancel the multi-faith and charity celebration as the venue was not happy to hire us at that time. More recently, we had to cancel the charity fund golf raiser. Sorry, charity golf fundraiser, owing to lack of uptake. However, we've enjoyed quiz nights. Thank you and the art charity for all your support. People also collected in collecting boxes and other ways. We have to congratulate our MP, Peter Swallow, for his amazing contribution. I think it's now over £600, which he's raised from sponsorship of his half marathon. An enormous thank you, Peter, and well done. I envy your stamina. Bracknell Forest Council also contributes rent from charity used clothing boxes, and there has been a very generous donation from the crematorium for recycled metal. Thank you. It gives me great pleasure now to hand over a cheque to a representative from the ARC, Mr. Simon Kenton. This cheque is for £563.27. This does not include the money from Peter, which will be paid direct to the charity afterwards, because it hasn't really been totaled up now. So, would you like to come and accept this enormous cheque that is here?
Thank you.
So.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I don't want to get mugged. There's a huge gratitude to you all, members and officers, for such an amazing donation. So thank you, and thank you, Madam Mayor.
Pleasure. I'm sure we all know how much the Arc supports the community in various ways, and they'll have plenty of ideas of how to spend this money to enhance their work. It just remains for me to say how much I've enjoyed my year. My Deputy Mayor, Janet Cochran, has been a great support, and I hope she will enjoy being Mayor as much as I have. I wish her and her Deputy, Peter Frewer, all the best for a joyful and peaceful term. They've now joined the chain gang.
Right, now we come to agenda item 7, appointments and delegations by the Leader of the Council. I call upon the Leader of the Council, Councillor Temperton, to present a report which sets out her appointments and delegations for the 2025 to 2026 municipal year. Please note that this is an information item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. All the appointments have been circulated on page 7 to 20 of the agenda, and I've nothing to add.
Thank you, Councillor Temperton. Are there any questions for Councillor Temperton on her report? No. None at all? Deputy Mayor, has anyone joining remotely indicated that they have a question for the Leader of the Council?
None, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. If there are no further questions of Councillor Temperton, the report is noted. Agenda item 8, establishment of committees and associated matters. Agenda item 8 is a report regarding the establishment and membership of committees and other bodies and appointments to external organisations. A revised Appendix A has been published and circulated prior to this meeting. Does any councillor have a question in the contents of the report for the Leader? No? Deputy Mayor, does anyone joining remotely have a question?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, Councillor Temperton, would you like to move the recommendations, including the revised Appendix A?
I'd like to move the recommendations at 21A to F and 22 on page 21 of the agenda and not set out on the screen. Thank you.
Is that seconded?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would like to second that motion. Thank you.
Now we'll move to the debate. Please raise your hand if you wish to speak. You may speak once during the debate for no longer than 5 minutes. Councillor Temperton will have the right of reply at the end of the debate before we move to the vote. Councillor Temperton, would you like to speak to the motion?
I think it's very clear from all those pages in this of the proportionality, how it was all arranged, and the outside appointments. I've nothing to add to the written document.
Does the seconder wish to speak now or reserve your right to speak later in the debate?
I'll reserve, thank you.
Thank you. Does any councillor wish to speak? Deputy Mayor, are there any requests to speak from those joining remotely?
None, Madam Mayor.
Right. Councillor Temperton, would you like to sum up?
I'd just like to note this report.
All right. So invite the seconder to speak if they haven't already spoken. Would you like to speak?
No, nothing further
No.
to add. Thank you.
Okay. The recommendation is set out on screen. The Democratic Services Officer will count our votes, so please make sure your hand is clearly raised. Only those in the room can vote. Can all those present in the chamber indicate by raising your hand if you support the recommendation?
Unanimous.
That's unanimous. Thank you. That is carried. Agenda item 9, State of the Borough speeches. The Leader of Council and the 3 political group leaders will each be making a State of the Borough speech. The Leader of the Council has a maximum of 10 minutes for their speech, and the political group leaders have a maximum of 5 minutes each. You can either come up to the dais to give your speech or do it from your seats. Right. Councillor Haffajee or Councillor Collins to speak. I would like to invite you to speak if you... It's Haffajee. Councillor Haffajee.
That's me, actually. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Another year has passed very quickly. We, the Greens, continue to appreciate the openness and transparency with which Councillor Temperton is leading the council. We believe discussion, debate and collaborative working are preferable to combative politics. We would like to thank all officers for their continued support and hard work, often in difficult circumstances. The Greens supported the adoption of the new local plan last year, accepting it may not be ideal in terms of site allocations, Beaufort Park being a particular example, or its policies, especially those relating to climate, biodiversity and sustainability. However, in planning, it is always better to have a plan than no plan at all. I accepted the role of Planning Committee Vice Chair to better enable me to help make the improvements I felt were needed within planning, and also to support improvements to the local plan. It has been good to see officers and councillors working together on new guidance for developers. I'm particularly pleased to see the recently published biodiversity guidance suggesting enhancements for swifts, bees and hedgehogs, to name but a few. That's my own personal love. We now have comprehensive noise guidance, thanks in part to Councillor Smith's expertise and input in this area. And I am very much looking forward to viewing the sustainability guidance, which is currently being developed, and I know others are too. I have also seen greater opportunities for councillors to consult and work with officers, suggesting changes, improvements to planning applications and permissions to ensure they are the best they can be for the borough. Accepting the role of Vice Chair for a second term will enable me to continue this work, including longer term to press for the need to consider this council's climate and biodiversity emergency when assessing any future site allocations which are needed. Following a recent disappointing inspection of send provision in Bracknell Forest, the council and its partner, NHS Frimley ICB, have the support of the Greens to make the improvements so desperately needed. Progress is being made, but we recognise it needs to be faster, as some parents still feel failed. We're looking forward to construction of the new social, emotional and mental health school in Warfield. However, it is hugely disappointing that the building of the new autism school in Bucklers Park has been put on hold by the Department of Education, as this school is an essential element of the improvement plan for SEND provision in Bracknell. We are all aware of the council continues to see significant spending pressures. We welcomed many aspects of the budget approved for 2025-26, including continued support for our most vulnerable residents and the borough's lowest income households, investment in council properties and buildings to ensure they remain fit for purpose and with improved energy efficiency. But of course, being Greens, we particularly welcomed the increased investment in our council's new climate change strategy and plans, and the team who will drive it. Adrian will speak more on this now.
Thank you, Sheila. Mayor. Obviously, climate change continues to be a pressing concern for the planet, and globally we're heading for the second consecutive year where we'll be above the 1.5 degree safe level as dictated by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. That's why we're so excited and enthused that we've turned around our direction here at Bracknell Forest Council. This year has seen the development, consultation and adoption of our new climate change strategy. We congratulate the leader and the officers for their foresight in what this strategy could be. We eagerly await this first transition year with the new strategy and its enabling groundwork to drive change and adaptation. As directed by the Climate and Biodiversity Emergency Motion from 2023, the Council has continued to work with the community for the development of its own community climate strategy. This endeavour has led to the creation of the Bracknell Forest Community Climate Action, a charity to act as an umbrella for climate action throughout the community. Summing up for both of us, this has been another solid year for the Greens. We believe we have continued to show that even if you're not part of the administration, you can still have a positive impact in the council, no matter how large your group is. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hafferty and Councillor Collins. I would now like to invite the Liberal Democrats Group Leader, Councillor Forster, to speak, please. Coming up to
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The state of our borough is, of course, heavily influenced by events outside of our control, both nationally and internationally. But we live in a time of great anxiety. There are many matters of huge concern to all the people, I'm sure, that live in our borough, not least the worsening effects of climate change, the human suffering in Gaza, and the terrible war of aggression against the Ukrainian people. We now find ourselves facing the uncertainty of the tariff policies of President Trump to add into this mix. There is a huge amount of work for the government to do nationally which affects us here in Bracknell Forest, particular work to improve public services, river pollution, and make good many of the challenges that were neglected over the last decade. New challenges have arisen, and one of these is the requirement to rearm, and we should be under no illusion that that money will come from what in the past would have been local authorities. It now has to go to protect our state and our people. There has been, though, and there's still of great concern to myself, a loss of faith in politics. It's questionable whether the loss of removing the winter fuel allowance has helped populism, potentially. And many of the incidents we are even seeing in our own borough have been blown out of proportion by the menace of disinformation. We have our own localised areas of concern, and I just want to focus on Send for a minute. I think no one in this room would downplay the significance of the results of our inspection. We are still falling short of what residents want and need. There is still work to be done, and we all have to own this to ensure that we reach the standards that other residents need. Our financial plight was described as a burning platform, and it is still well and truly alight. And we still have the challenge of resolving local authority funding by a fair settlement from central government. It is a ticking time bomb that's still sitting there, still waiting to be addressed, and devolution will not fix this problem if we don't resolve the long-term challenge of a fair, equitable settlement for this council. It would be easy, though, to fall into this pit of despair, and I hope that that's something that we don't do. Liberal Democrats are incurable optimists by nature, and our borough has such real strengths. not least the human talent and hard work of our residents, our thriving businesses, the stable leadership of this council, and its valuable partnership in the public, private and voluntary sectors. We have an example today of where this council has raised its game, and I say this most sincerely, and this is regarding the Afghan resettlement scheme. I'm proud of the work that this council, its councillors and its officers have done to make the case for why this is the right thing. This is the tone of this council, and this is why this scheme will be successful, and we should all support it. We believe that the heart of a role of councillors is to understand what residents need, want, and to address those needs tirelessly. To speak to residents, to knock on their doors, to have surgeries, and I hope that we all continue in the best tradition of the Nolan principles to maintain that engagement with our residents, to keep delivering for them, when we should never forget that. And then one last thing. I'm going to go off-piste, and if Councillor Patrick Smith was here, he would hate it. And it's this. All of you in this room, all of us, Liberal Democrats, Labour, Greens, councillors, we compete for our vote, for the vote of the residents in our borough. We knock on their doors. We speak to them. We have surgeries. We are the people that can bring certainty against this disinformation tsunami that's starting. Now, I would disagree on many of you across different policies, but I know the people in this room are good people. So when you next knock on a door and you hear the same old populist snake oil, I hope and I'm confident that you will make the case for the fact that these snake oil solutions don't deliver for real people. Tell the truth. Make sure that people understand that the threat to our democracy is. If we can do that, then we are representing it in the best interests of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Forster. I would now like to invite the Conservative Group Leader, Councillor Bernard, to speak, please.
Thank you very much. And first of all, congratulations, Madam Mayor, from the Conservative Group on the election for the year ahead. And I'd also like tonight to thank the members of the Conservative Group for their hard work and dedication over the past year. Last week across Bracknell Forest, we commemorated the 80th anniversary of VE Day, and we remember the enormous sacrifice of the wartime generation. For many families, the Second World War brought both pride and sadness. But on that day, the 8th of May 1945, the nation came together. There was a palpable sense of relief and collective hope for a better future. Today and always, we honour and give heartfelt thanks to all those who made the ultimate sacrifice. We will never forget. Bracknell and Newtown came into existence in the years that followed and was born out of that sense of optimism. Over the years, it has become a great place to live and work. Our growing parishes have meant that it is now a genuine borough of opportunity. It falls to us in this council chamber in very challenging times to work with our residents and businesses to keep it that way. What has struck me when talking to residents over the past year is there's much in our world that brings uncertainty to them. And sadly, in many cases, and I think Councillor Forster, you were alluding to this translates into a sense of profound cynicism and as to the motives of both central governments and local councils, which in turn damages the trust that they have in us to deliver for them. I sense that there is a growing disconnect between our residents and decisions made by central government and those made in this council chamber. We need always to be mindful of what causes our residents concern and what matters to them. It is too easy sometimes to think that we know best, an approach which further exacerbates this disconnect. Our pledge is to continue to listen to these concerns and bring the voice of our residents and businesses into this council chamber. We know there are discussions about creating strategic authorities as part of a devolution agenda. Such benefits as there may be seem nebulous to some residents. It falls to the administration, and I think to some extent all of us, to explain why this expensive top-down government-initiated upheaval will bring benefit. We will continue to champion the needs to focus on keeping our town centre, the lexicon in our parishes and towns clean and tidy. I mean, Councillor Mrs Temperton, it isn't people dropping litter that is the issue. It is, as a group of exasperated residents said recently, what people do with litter when the bins are full. Fly tipping blights our community, and I think we just need to keep a watching brief on that. With central government announcements about building many more houses, I think there is a concern for many residents in the parishes that residents' voices are lost in the mix, and that our planning committee arrangements only makes this harder for residents to feel listened to and represented. Residents generally accept that we have clear planning policies and that there is legal wriggle room, but where there is, and there always is, I think they would like us to push harder for the sort of compromise where we can, to just really engender that sense that we're to some extent on their side. Looking after our environment and promoting low material consumption of precious resources is important. However, it is clear that we need to balance our spend on this with other council priorities. I think a nuanced, action-focused approach is key. Our residents need to understand local progress in the area of climate change. On this, I think we agree with a lot of what Tony Blair said recently. I think the lack of progress in the solar farm is somewhat regrettable. We're not immune from decisions made by central government. Ongoing concerns about the means testing of the winter fuel allowance, hasty changes, potentially due to fiscal incompetence, to PIP and disability benefits, and changes to NI, employer contributions, impact on our residents, employers and charities. It has not helped locally that with the state of Labour's job tax, that this council has chosen and thought to give our charities a further kicking by radically reducing the rates relief that someone that can claim. But I think this is I think, quite enlightening in terms of, I think, the response to the administration. They generally seek to replace entitlement with a hardship fund. And I think the sad thing there is, and again, residents were telling us that the problem there is the residents and actually some businesses and charities feel they have to beg for support. The council recently received a very challenging Ofsted inspection report about our SEND services. We had a good scrutiny meeting on Monday, Councillor Watts chaired, which has come up with some very proactive recommendations. But I urge you, Councillor Bailey, to always ask the why questions, because that's how we'll understand what's going on in that area. But I think of real concern is the hold on Forest View, the new Bucklers Park Special School. This is needed urgently to meet the needs of our children. I would therefore invite the leader and the executive member to write, with the support of all group leaders, a cross-party letter to the Secretary of State, urgently inviting the Secretary of State down here to see what the need is and how actually we can move that school forward, because it's absolutely essential to our plans to put this forward. I pledge on behalf of the group that we will, like all other groups here, work with energy and passion to improve outcomes for children and young people. I was disappointed when the previous SEND report came out. I was the portfolio holder at the time. I apologise then. I thought we had a robust plan, but clearly there's much more work to be done. On the subject of choices, we know that the Labour government is looking to redistribute taxpayers' money to councils based on their sense of need.
Excuse me, Councillor Bernard, just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, no, I'll come to I'm just on my final paragraph, thank you. We have been here before with the Labour government in terms of redistribution of money, and I would ask Councillor Neil that we work hard to demonstrate to government that our need is at sub-ward level. And I think, just finishing, if we can get that transparency, if we can bring our residents' voices into this council chamber, that we can all stand together, and the Conservative group will stand with everyone else, for a strong sense of cohesion in our borough. We will challenge misinformation, hate-related agendas. We've all seen that this week. Promote transparency and openness, and pledge to listen to and act on the real concerns of our residents. By bringing our residents' voices into this council chamber and respecting their views, we build confidence and trust, and together we can deliver an exciting and successful borough of opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bernard. Thank you. I would now like to invite the council and Labour Group leader, Councillor Temperton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I believe we are delivering a borough of opportunity, and reflecting on all that's been achieved and put in place to ensure Bracknell Forest is an even better place to live, I realise and appreciate how very, very busy this past year has been. We have agreed strategies on improving transport, all-age integrated care, leisure and sport, community safety, children in our care, accessibility to planning, biodiversity, community involvement, corporate parenting, school attendance, youth services, youth justice and climate change.
We also agreed a new housing allocations policy, a new arts, culture and heritage framework, and adopted the new centre master plans. We've been out and consulted on all of these, and all have been amended to reflect the responses from our residents. All these strategies aim to make real improvements to the lives of our residents, to improve our borough for everyone who lives or works here now and in the future. They all have action plans with targets to be monitored and publicly reported on, keeping us on track and accountable. This year, the budget involved 12 separate public consultation sessions held in libraries, community spaces and the town centre. We have just completed the consultation on the vision for Bracknell Forest, again taking this out to shopping centres and listening to our residents, including college attendees. As promised, we are taking the council to the residents and being as transparent as can be. We have opened a new hub for the virtual school and our children in care, and a new hub for the youth offending service. We relaunched Bracken Walk Youth Centre, meaning more people can now have access to it, more young people can have access to it. We secured the new health facility in Bracknell Town Centre, now going up at pace, and agreed to joint fund the community hub at Warfield with Warfield Parish Council, which will be a fully sustainable building. We also agreed the lease with Age Concerned Bracknell Forest for Butlers Park Community Hub, with initial services and activities now up and running. And the construction of the new Bridgewell facility in Birch Hill continued this year, with work now nearing completion. This new facility will provide much needed accommodation for adults with care and support needs. We agreed to build new affordable and social rent homes for our residents, including 100% affordable development on Old Bracknell Lane, featuring flats and 3 and 4 bedroom homes, and affordable family-sized homes for social rent on Binfield Road. We also invested millions of pounds in improving local roads, paths and bike lanes, with more than £4 million spent just on resurfacing roads. A further £2.7 million is earmarked for highways improvement for 25-26. We launched the Bracknell Forest Skills Hub in September 24 to help residents build their skills and find new opportunities. The hub also works with local employers to support them to upskill existing staff and recruit trained staff. We organised a very successful Climate Change Summit last July, and a separate Climate Change Summit for primary children and another for secondary school pupils. I visited 12 schools to give assemblies on climate change, and the Pride of Bracknell School poster competition for primary children entitled Steps to Save My Planet received 1,500 entries. We are organising summits this year on July the 16th in the Kerris Centre in the evening, July the 18th at Wellington College in the afternoon. These will help to produce the community climate change strategy, outlining ways to reduce the 98% of carbon footprint not related to this council's activities. We organised many community celebrations and events, including the second successful Bracknell Forest Pride, the Popular Culture and Community Day and D-Day 80th anniversary celebrations. Just this month, we also celebrated the 80th anniversary of VE Day with a well-attended civic event. We have hosted our Nepalese, Indian, Hong Kong, Romanian and Polish communities in the Council's Community Hub to discuss health and well-being, social prescribing, housing, benefits concerns about crime and introducing them to the world of volunteering. And all that is available at the Open Learning Centre. Our Welfare Support Day in Princess Square enabled residents to talk face-to-face with representatives from the CAB, our own welfare team, Green Doctor, the Cowshed, DWP, the ARC, Thames Water and others. The Household Support Fund, phases 5 and 6 receives grants from the government, enabled us to provide more than 2,800 families with financial support to meet the increased costs they face during school holidays. 20 households received intensive debt advice, enabling them to become debt-free or to have a manageable debt repayment scheme in place for the first time.
£50,000 was issued to our voluntary community and faith sector stakeholders who supported our community with things like warm clothing, food and energy efficiency measures and hot water bottle exchanges. More than 600 pension-age residents in receipt of housing benefit and/or council tax support received additional financial support. 400 low-income households in receipt of the highest rates of disability support received support worth more than £60,000. Additional benefits worth more than £160,000 are now in place for residents supported through the Council's dedicated financial inclusion team. Help was provided to more than 120 care leavers, supporting with the cost of travel to work or hospital, food and other essential items. We have received 3 reviews from the overview and scrutiny panels, one holding Thames Water to account, one on supporting young people to access sexual health advice, and one on the transitioning from school to the world of work. I would like to thank all those who have contributed to these valuable reports. We have received 1 petition asking us to try and help the acoustic couch relocate from under the condemned High Street car park. This we are trying to do. I am proud that we all unanimously welcome the Afghan families included in the Ministry of Defence Organised Resettlement Scheme. We have had many inspections. All our schools in Bracknell Forest continue to be Ofsted rated good or outstanding. Larchwood, our short break children's home, received a good inspection rating, and our adult social care service also received a good rating when inspected by the CQC. The SEND inspection has highlighted that we have a very long way to go before we can ensure all our children have the opportunity for best possible outcomes. A detailed action plan has been published. Progress will be carefully scrutinised. We need more local places for our children. Specialised resource provision has been doubled, and we have opened a new unit at Sandhurst School. Another is planned at Edgeborough, and a new social, emotional and mental health school is also planned in Warfield. As you've all mentioned, the urgently needed special school to support children with autism planned at school at Butlers Park is on hold until the government has reviewed the finances. There is now a permanent and experienced workforce in the SEND team. 100% of EHCPs are being delivered within the statutory timescales, and the backlog has been cleared. We adopted a parental leave strategy and adopted the need for members to all have DBS checks, though most residents assumed this had always been in place. I would like to thank all the officers who have made this possible. I would like to thank all the councillors for maintaining the positive and productive atmosphere during meetings. We are here to represent and benefit the residents of Bracknell Forest. The Nolan principles have been upheld on almost all occasions. Certainly we are as transparent as we can be, and the council has been taken to the residents so they can get involved, and changes are done with them, not to them. This new year promises to be challenging financially, and we have to continue to discuss devolution and local government reorganisation. I am confident this will be achieved in the same manner as we now conduct all our business. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Templeton. I would like to thank all the group leaders for their speeches, and I now declare this annual council meeting closed and hand over to the clerk for the annual meetings of all committees.
Good evening, everyone. There will now be a series of special meetings to make the appointments for committees for the 2025 to 26 municipal year, including the election of chairs, vice chairs and appointments of subcommittees and other groups as appropriate. The order of the meetings will run as set out on the screen. I will ask for members of each committee to make themselves known to the meeting by raising their hands. Please remain seated so that cameras and microphones can pick up speakers. So the first meeting is Employment Committee. Would the members of the Employment Committee in the room please raise their hands? Thank you. Are there any nominations for the chair?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Pickering.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Yes, it is, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Pickering has been duly elected the Chair of the Employment Committee for the municipal year. I'll now hand over to the Chair, Councillor Pickering.
Thank you. Agenda item 2 is to appoint a vice chair, and I propose Councillor Gilby. Is that seconded?
Councillor Webb seconds.
Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Gilby has been duly elected Vice Chair of the Committee for the new municipal year. Item number 3 is the establishment of the subcommittees and other groups and the appointments to them. I move that the relevant appointments set out in the revised appendix to the annual council agendas papers are confirmed. Is that seconded?
I second this motion.
If there are no amendments, will all those in favour of the motion please show your hands? I declare the motion carried and now declare this meeting closed.
Thank you. The next meeting is the Governance and Audit Committee. Would the members of the Governance and Audit Committee in the room please raise your hands? Thank you. Are there any nominations for chair of the committee?
I'd like to nominate Councillor O'Regan.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Yes, I'm happy to second that.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? No, there being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor O'Regan has been duly elected Chair of the Governance and Audit Committee for the municipal year. Councillor O'Regan can't be with us this evening, so I'll continue to the appointment of Vice Chair. So agenda item 2 is to appoint the Vice Chair of the committee. Is there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Bidwell.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Adrian Hafferty, happy to second.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? No, there being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Bidwell has been duly elected Vice Chair for the forthcoming municipal year. I will now hand over to the Vice Chair, Councillor Bidwell.
Thank you very much, I think. Item 3 is the establishment of the Code of Conduct Panel, Subcommittee of Governance and Audit Committee, and the appointments to them. I move that the relevant appointments set out in the revised appendix to the annual council agenda papers are confirmed. Is that seconded?
Adrian Hafferty, happy to second.
Thank you. If there are no amendments, will those in favour of the motion please show? I declare that the motion carried and now declare that this meeting is closed. Thank you.
Thank you. The next meeting is Licensing and Safety Committee. Would the members of the Licensing and Safety Committee please raise their hands? Thank you. Are there any nominations for chair of the committee?
I would like to nominate Councillor Welch.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Councillor Thompson, happy to second.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? No, there being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Welsh has been duly elected Chair of the Licensing Committee for the municipal year. I'll now hand over to the Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 2 is to appoint a Vice Chair of the committee. I propose Councillor O'Regan. Is that seconded?
Councillor Thompson, happy to second.
Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor O'Regan has been duly elected Vice Chair for the forthcoming municipal year. The next item of business is the establishment of the licensing panels and the appointments to them. I move that the relevant appointments set out in the revised appendix to the annual council agenda papers are confirmed. Is that seconded?
Councillor Thompson, happy to second.
If there are no amendments, will all those in favour of the motion please show? I declare the motion carried and now declare the meeting closed.
Thank you. The next meeting is the Overview and Scrutiny Commission. So would the members of the Overview and Scrutiny Commission in the room please raise your hands? Thank you. Are there any nominations for chair?
Councillor Penfold, I would like to nominate Councillor Pickering.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Councillor Pressland, happy to second.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? No, there being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Pickering has been duly elected the Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Commission for the municipal year. I'll hand over to the Chair, Councillor Pickering.
Thank you. Agenda item 2 is to appoint a Vice Chair of the Commission, and I propose Councillor Robert McLean. Is that seconded?
I'm happy to second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor McCain has been duly elected Vice Chair for the forthcoming municipal year. Item 3 is the establishment of the Overview and Scrutiny panels and the appointments to them. I move that the relevant appointments set out in the revised appendix to the annual council agenda papers are confirmed. Is that seconded?
Councillor Pressland, happy to second.
If there are no amendments, will all those in favour of the motion please show your hands? I declare the motion carried and now declare this meeting closed.
Thank you. And the final meeting is the Planning Committee. Would the members of Planning Committee please raise their hands? Thank you. Are there any nominations for Chair of the committee?
Councillor Penfold, I would like to nominate Councillor Brown.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Councillor Tempson, I would like to second that.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? No, there being no other nominations, I declare that Councillor Brown has been duly elected Chair of the Planning Committee for the municipal year. I'll now hand over to the Chair, Councillor Brown.
Thank you. Agenda item 2 is to appoint the Vice Chair for the committee, and I would like to propose Councillor Collins. Is that seconded?
Councillor Tempson, I would like to second that.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
May I, Madam Mayor? Can I have a nomination for the Vice Chair, and that is Councillor Tony Virgo. Madam Mayor, under political proportionality, as in other committees, it's only right and fair that he is elected to the office of Vice Chair. And this is where our political stance ends. We Planning Committee members for Bracknell Forest... Sorry. Seconded. Yep, sorry. Councillor Virgo, over the last 20 years, has an unbroken history, therefore experience and gravitas of being a planning committee member. He does not act as an officer. We have planning officers, a good department that has well-trained and experienced officers. He acts for, but with the advice and guidance of the officers. He acts for the residents and those who put each and every one of us on Bracknell Forest Council. So I would hope, colleagues, that you would help and support this nomination and have a committed committee member as our Vice Chair of Planning. Can I have, please, your support? Can you show your support, please?
I think it's only right that Councillor Collins should say why she wants to continue, so that we have a proper election. Would you like to speak now, Councillor Collins?
Thank you. In the last year, I have been very honoured to serve as Vice Committee member. I think within the Council there are very distinct views of how the Planning Committee should operate, and I've always operated under the planning protocol, which is part of our constitution. It seems to me that others don't, and I believe they put at risk at times all of the residents of this borough by threatening to not approve planning applications which may go to appeal and we may then lose. Therefore, I spend a lot of time before planning applications come to committee discussing with officers and making amendments if we can to make the best of planning applications for all residents of the borough. We are advised not to support our ward residents, but instead look to all of the residents of the borough. I would like to continue my work as planning of Vice Chair, and I hope people would be happy to support me. Thank you.
Councillor Bernard.
Thank you. I'd like to, if possible, raise a point of order and seek guidance from the Borough Solicitor. During the speech we've just heard, it has been suggested that some councillors might not act in accordance with the training that they've received from planning. I don't believe that any such allegation has ever been put in a formal manner, so I'm a little bit concerned that that's come into the meeting, and I would ask Councillor Collins to clarify exactly what she meant by that.
Madam Mayor, we are at the moment conducting a planning committee meeting. We're not part of the formal council meeting, and Councillor Barnard, I understand you're not part of the planning committee.
But I'm concerned about the allegation made that some councillors might not be following planning protocol.
But the council
and it is a public meeting as well.
I understand, but the public meeting in terms of the council has finished. What we're in the process of doing is considering the nomination of vice chair for the planning committee. Thank you. So I would refer to Councillor Brown in this instance as the chair.
As another point of information or order, should this be taken to the first planning committee, proper planning committee?
So for the election of vice chair now, you need to do a vote. So you would do a vote for Councillor Virgo, and all members of the planning committee can vote on that. And then you'll do a vote for Councillor Collins, and whomever's got the most will be elected as vice chair.
Okay. So they've both spoken.
They haven't. Councillor Virgo hasn't spoken.
So oh, well, that's the point, isn't it? Councillor Virgo, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I've been on the planning committee for a long time, and I've always weighed up the differences between, I suppose, what officers have recommended and what I think personally is right or wrong. And I believe that's what a member of the planning committee should be. There shouldn't be an officer. That's absolutely important. I wouldn't go against things that would put this council into disrepute or cause them enormous costs, except I want this town to be better. I want this town to look better. I'm concerned very much with developments at the moment, which I think the area can't stand in terms of environmental concerns, sewage, roads, etc. So those thoughts have always come into my head since I first joined this council 14 or 15 years ago. And I've lived in this borough much longer than that, about 40, 50 years. So I'm happy that a councillor suggested me, and I would put my name forward as always to serve this borough in the best interests of this borough, but more importantly, I suppose, in the best interests of the residents of this borough. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Having heard both applicants, perhaps we should now take a vote. Those in favour of... Oh, gosh. Got to be a secret vote, is it? No. A recorded
No, it
vote?
doesn't need to be a secret vote.
Are we ready to take the vote? Those people in the planning committee, please. I don't want any other outside discussion, thank you. So those in favour of Councillor Virgo being vice chair?
Do we show now?
Members of the planning committee show now.
Thank you.
Thank you. And those in favour of Councillor Pickering being vice chair? Collins being vice chair. Good Lord. Councillor Collins being vice chair, please. And you're allowed to vote for yourself. Okay. I think Councillor Collins has been duly elected. Thank you for your input and your discussions. That's the meeting is now closed. Thank you.
Thank you. Can all councillors please remain seated until the stream has